Security check approach. Advice and demonstration. Advice about security frisks. Frisking, though not reserved for security professionals, is an action that requires great skill and must only be used in the strict framework of the law. That is to say, to look for a weapon or a dangerous object after having questioned a criminal. Now we're going to offer you a study of the frisking techniques. This is not to say that it is the only one, nor is it exhaustive, but it has the merit of centering on the most dangerous areas where an individual with bad intentions could hide a weapon. And furthermore, it allows for the effective control of these areas. It is essential to consider that the sequence that comes next follows pedagogical aims. Its objective is to show where weapons are hidden. It is not an operative frisk. The individual in the sequence cooperates, and his role consists only of carrying weapons that will be discovered by the frisking. We recommend that you place the individual completely up against the wall. This allows one to avoid his using the space between himself and the wall to grab a weapon from his belt or put a knee on the ground and do a technique to counter the cuffing. Never frisk someone when you are alone. It is necessary to have a colleague for support. He will be able to control the surroundings to avoid any possible aggression by a second person and prevent any attempt of aggression on the part of the delinquent. The first things that must be controlled are the hands. It is important not to limit yourself to controlling the backside of the hands. It is essential to see the palms, given that they can hide a weapon. For example, a razor blade stuck between the fingers or a claw ring. The role of the support partner also consists of controlling all the weapons that are found during the frisking. One must put special attention on any kind of baseball hat or hat. These can very easily hide a razor blade in the peak or hooks in the back part of the hat, and the interior of the hats might even be manipulated. One mustn't forget to frisk the hair. A delinquent can hide sharp, pointed weapons. It is there where some drug addicts hide their syringes. For that, one should be very cautious during the control of this area and do a frisk of the hair. You have to be very careful also in the neck area. Collars and hoods are places where it is easy to hide small weapons. Often necklaces are worn around the neck that can really be a weapon. In fact, they can hide knives or push daggers, as we can see in these images. Underneath the armpits or on the sides, it is easy to have a sheath or holster. This can hold a firearm, but also bladed weapons, such as the knives in this example, which can be used as a throwing weapon or for stabbing. Now let's look at the waist. It is a privileged place for placing weapons because it is very accessible. This is one of the places where we find firearms most often, as well as any kind of bladed weapon. One has to observe the complements of the clothes because they can hide weapons like this push dagger. You also have to be careful with snap rings because they can be utilized as brass knuckles. Pockets are other places that have to be checked with great care. It can be useful to feel the pocket from the outside to assure yourself that it doesn't contain anything pointed before putting the hand inside to verify its contents. Pockets can hold almost any kind of weapon, and they are easily accessible, and for that they have to receive special attention. In order to see them better, we turn the individual around. Obviously, this is a pedagogical maneuver that one shouldn't execute in the field. The forearms and the sleeves can also shelter numerous firearms of all kinds. One can easily hide a small firearm there or a bradal, such as those in this example. The back of the belt must also be controlled because, as we have seen in some examples, they can have some dangerous hooks inside the leather. Some small knives can also be adapted to the belt, such as these two push daggers, for example. The frisking continues down the length of the legs until reaching another area that we must check with a lot of attention, the ankles. We have seen at the beginning how easy it is to hide a knife or a firearm there. Now we're going to see an example of a rapid frisk. The objective of this frisk is to assure ourselves that the individual isn't carrying weapons that he can easily use. This doesn't mean that he isn't hiding weapons in places more difficult to reach, but this would force him clearly visible movements if he wanted to get them. The frisk can continue downward. In the case of finding a weapon, the officer or agent frisking must go back to the beginning and start again. If, during the frisk, a doubt arises with respect to the control of an area, never doubt rechecking it. The frisk must be done as much as possible in a tactile manner, placing the hand more than letting it slide in order to avoid pricking yourself with an object that we haven't seen, like a syringe, for example.
Pas sûr d'avoir fouillé une zone, ne pas hésiter à repasser par la zone pour revoir. Okay.
As you have learned watching this DVD, hidden weapons are a very real threat. There are no miraculous formulas to furnish oneself with. However, the FFBD Self-Defense wanted to inform you about this danger and put professional ability at the service of the general public by way of some solutions. So, you have received some important principles such as the necessity of keeping distance from an armed individual, the value of various people intervening on an armed individual, or the importance of extending the field of vision to the maximum in order to detect any possible escape, a possible accomplice, but especially to watch the aggressor's hands. This advice, guarantor of your security, has as an objective helping you to identify the threat and adapt your reaction.
Oh